Let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Been in the business for more than 30 years. If you want to stop by their office, 114th and Davenport, easy to find, or just go to eaglemortgagecompany.com. Doesn't matter whether you're looking for a conventional FHA, VA loan. They do some of the specialty loans as well. The most important thing is they take good care of you. Very, very client-focused. And as a mortgage broker, they're not a bank. They're not beholden to one bank. They can shop the market and find the best lending situation for you. So if you're thinking about buying a house, one of the first things you want to do is contact Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com.
I don't know about you, Jeff, but my neighborhood, it seems like more neighbors are moving out. And I don't know if it's just me, but there's more signs that go up. I don't know if the rates are coming down.
I have not noticed that in my neighborhood, so it could be just kind of a quirk of one neighborhood at one time.
The mean streets of West Omaha.
You never know, but I do know that while mid to late fall tends to be a slower time for residential moves, it's not a bad time, and sometimes it's good to be counter-cyclical a little bit when you're making decisions.
I'm very excited. Cheers to the crew. Kudos. That the expansion of 168th Street from Center Street to Q Street, it's going great.
Yeah, it's supposed to be done by the end of the year, and really there's only one segment of pavement that remains, and they already have the rebar in place for it. It looks
pouring it today.
Were they pouring it already today? Okay. Well, there's another big project happening today, and that is an extension of the tower crane over the Mutual of Omaha future headquarters site. That thing will go up by another 100 feet today. And I wanted to go by this morning to maybe catch it in action so we could have a good photo for Grow Omaha project of the day. And this morning before the show, they weren't quite ready. They had the 5 20-foot segments there, and it looks like they should be extending that at any time.
Our friend Brad Williams watches that closely.
Hopefully you'll get a photograph. Henry Doorly Zoo and Aquarium is raising money for a 32,000 square foot veterinary hospital. It'll be located near the Asian Highlands exhibit. No date has been announced publicly for the start of construction. Current hospital is 30 years old. This one at 32,000 square feet would be pretty impressive size. And it's my understanding that in addition to medical care, veterinary care, there would also be some meeting space and education space and this sort of thing.
Just like humans, the animals are getting bigger.
Mayor Stothert, U.S. Congressman Don Bacon, and members of the Blackstone Business Improvement District yesterday held an announcement for the Harney Streetscape Plan. This will be an effort to really not only make Harney Street more attractive, but more importantly, make it safer and more pedestrian focused. Part of this was a $2 million federal community funding project grant. It also requires a $500,000 local match, which the Blackstone District or Business Improvement District is working on and doing fundraising for. But the idea here, Trenton, is to reduce traffic speeds, better traffic signals, wider sidewalks, and then while Harney will remain one way, it's going to go from 3 lanes one direction to 2. And they refer to this as a road diet. Have you heard that phrase before?
No,
okay.
I've heard of food deserts.
A road diet. And we've seen some road diets in Omaha lately. This is where you take a street and you put it on a diet. It gets a little thinner. And a classic case of a road diet was Harney Street a couple years ago through the Blackstone District. That had been 3 lanes west, one-way west. People would go way too fast through there if you wanted to create this really cool mixed-use walkable district that we have right now. So instead, they put in a turn lane, 1 lane of traffic each way, parallel parking. It's a road diet. And you don't want to do this everywhere because some places you need traffic to move very quickly.
You'll get a bottleneck.
Exactly. But if you are trying to create a special place where people feel very comfortable walking and you have people getting a beer and walking with an ice cream and going and all that sort of thing, a road diet like what they're talking about Harney, it makes a lot of sense.
And I've got a building for sale right at 2909 Harney, the EB and Sons painting, about 4,000 square feet. If anybody's looking to buy a building, maybe a man or woman cave or a person cave, right there by the on-ramp. So it'll be interesting to see what Harney does. They've closed the bike path in order to do the construction for the streetcar.
Yeah, long-term plan, though, the bike path will come back, and it will run on Harney Street from 10th to 17th. Then at 17th, it'll jog a block north and then go out the rest of the way to the Med Center area via Farnham Street. But anyway, that whole corridor is on its way, I don't think it's a stretch to say this, toward becoming the coolest corridor in the city, period. Like when you think about a few years from now, you'll have the streetcar there, mostly on Farnham, but in the downtown proper, it'll also be partly on the Harney corridor as well. But you'll have that there, and already, like I was just walking, I had a lunch meeting on Farnham Street in the Blackstone district this week, and after lunch, I took a long walk. I walked down to the Med Center West Campus, then back east all the way to Midtown Crossing. Just did a big long loop. And you can already see all that activity there in so many places, but you ain't seen nothing yet because you're going to have so much more going into that area. And I think it'll be kind of this long linear path of activity, probably, day and night.
I just saw that 25th and Farnham, right next to Olmecs, is Site One Brewing that now has Backlot Pizza.
Yeah, so the owners of Backlot Pizza and the ACX 12 Theater, Exarban, Cinema, the Barstow family, friends of ours, they have invested in that business, and Site One Brewing is definitely back up and running. 2566 Farnham Street, if we want to be specific. Yep. And then the Barstow family and the existing owners of that business have some good plans for expansion.
Very excited about that.
Well, we had some big news coming out of Midtown. We were just talking about the Harney Street streetscape project, but also we now have a name for the 30-acre district that the University of Nebraska Medical Center is developing primarily west of Saddle Creek Road. It's called the Edge District, and the E, D, G, and E and Edge all stand for things that we don't necessarily need to get into, but this is a very, very special thing that is happening there. Already a few projects are well underway. The catalyst is the redevelopment of the former Omaha Steel Castings plant that goes back to 1906. That's 170,000 square feet. And then we have steel beams going up for the Campus Operations and Research Excellence building. This is right on the corner of Farnham and Saddle Creek. That'll be part administrative, part laboratory. And then finally, a 750-stall parking garage is now underway in that area. But there's going to be an awful lot more than just those three buildings.
Are they still doing the grassy walkway?
Oh, you're talking about the lid over. Yeah. That's a long-term possibility, but not in any of the concrete plans right now. So the $2.2 billion hospital, which will be probably one of the tallest buildings in the city, and by square footage, maybe the biggest building by square footage, unless there's some warehouse somewhere that's bigger, a couple million feet. But that'll all be on the southeast corner. And then they're using a series of skywalks, attractive, but nothing like that whole idea
now,
of the
lid.
Is
that part of the next project, or is it the precursor to the next project?
It's all part of it. They're calling the hospital right now Project Health, but basically, if you look at a rendering, and we put this on the Grow Omaha website and social media, you see probably, if you count them, 10 buildings on the rendering that don't yet exist. So the plans are enough to make you dizzy. There's so much planned for that area. But I think getting this project named and draws a little more attention to it, and it'll move forward. Also, one other thing that was kind of fun to mention, WWT ran an article within the last couple of days about the building that housed Rathskeller Beer House. Uh-huh. Okay, so Rathskeller unfortunately closed. They had a hard time with all that
construction. There's also Three Cheers.
Yeah, it was Three Cheers back in the day. That goes back. Yeah, that goes back to our youth. But anyway, Rath House, sadly, it's gone because it was a great place to get German beers, and I used to love going there. But the building of Rathskeller goes back to 1891. And according to Preserve Omaha, is very historically significant. There are only 4 or 5 buildings in town that meet whatever criteria or category it happens to reside in. Anyway, the Med Center plans to keep that. And if you look at the renderings, you see like 4 to 6 story buildings all over that area. and the Little Rathskeller Beer
What do they
House.
want to do with it?
Keep it as a restaurant bar. You know, you're going to have already the Med Center is the biggest concentration of jobs in the state. And now we're adding a whole bunch of residents to the campus. And so you need to have those amenities there, and it probably makes sense. Plus, it's historically significant.
As long as they do a good job wayfinding. You know, if you use one of those hospitals or something like that, you need to know where to go.
Well, yeah, because it certainly is a labyrinth. But I would say they do a pretty good job with that, both in the building and for drivers outside. But they'll need even more of it. Well, that's your news of the week, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.